What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be taking this door apart. This is a 2006 330i E90. So E90 E91. We're going to take the door panel off. We're going to show you where all the mounting screws are under the trim here. We're going to take out the mirror switch just so we can access the window regulator, which is probably going to break. Also, too, if you have a problem with your power mirror going bad, latch, door handle, or just replacing a piece of glass here. We're gonna go through all those steps, take this thing completely apart, show you what's going on. Okay, first things first, we're gonna take the mirror switch out. I've got a little flathead here, probably the fastest way to do it. Just gently put it in the front, slowly pick it up. There's just one single connector in there. Pull that right out of the way. Pretty simple, so you gotta replace that. It's not gonna take much time. But it's also good to take that out before you take the panel off. You can just tuck the connector down in the panel a little bit there, so it's not hung up when you take the panel off. Second piece would be this trim. I always recommend just using like a plastic pry tool, mainly because the wood's cracked. This one's cracked all the way, so it doesn't really matter. We start in the front, the lower part here, because it does clip in, but also has like a little hook that goes in the back here. So you just start in the front. Yeah, and there's that little hook there. So take that, set it aside, and now there's a couple Torx 25s in there. They may be 20s. So we're gonna take those off, and then we're just gonna pry this panel off. Take a look. All right, so it is a Torx 20. So we're gonna start by taking these 3 screws out. At that point, we're gonna just pry underneath this thing. So as this thing comes off, there's gonna be a cable behind this handle here. We gotta release that. There'll also be a connector for that speaker as well. And also we gotta lift it up over this lock rod here. So let's go ahead and pry this thing off. Okay, so I'm gonna just flip this around real quick and show you what I mean with the handle. So you have this, and that clips right back into there. And then you'll have connectors for the speaker. And there's also like a light down at the bottom of the panel here that there's usually a wire connector for as well. So once that's out of the way, you'll see this insulator. It's like a foam insulator that's kind of like stuck on all the way around. So once we pull that out, we'll be able to access the window regulator from there. So let's start doing that. Okay, now we're gonna take this foam insulator off. Just a quick tip, pull down a corner and take a razor blade knife and just slowly walk it along this like caulk-like substance, and that'll get that off. And when you put it back on, it'll stick right back to it. It's just really messy. But using a razor helps so much just to get it moving here. If not, they usually rip. It's really common, so if you rip yours, it's not the end of the world. That's out of the way. You can see your window regulator bolts here, or nuts. There's your window motor. There's another nut right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to just plug the window switch back in real quick. And then we're going to power this window down. And I'm going to show you the access points to release the glass out of the regulator. Okay, now that I have the window rolled down all the way, in the regulator, you're gonna see these little access holes here, right? You're gonna roll down till you see the glass, and there's a little hole opening in the glass, and you're gonna wanna push the flathead through and lift up on the glass at the same time to release the plastic clip, because it just kind of pushes in and stops on this little white guide here. And there's another one right back over here as well. So you wanna just push, same thing here, find a little hole opening in the glass, and you push on that and lift up at the glass at the same time. All right, once those little clips are released on either side, you can go ahead and lift the glass straight up. You just kind of cock it a little bit, and you'll be able to pull it straight out of the door. And these are little holes. You can actually see the imprint where that guide clip mounts on there. So when you push through that regulator clip, you're actually pushing it and releasing it out of here, one on either side. Okay, now with the glass out, I'm gonna just disconnect the window motor. And then now I'm gonna remove all 5 of these 10mm nuts, and then we're gonna remove the regulator out of here. You'll probably have ran into the cable inside of this, so your window stopped working and the glass doesn't move up and down. That's the window regulator in here. It's very common on the E90, E91 models. So let's take those off. There'll be some little retainers here that hold the cables in position. You could just relieve them with needle nose pliers. I'm just going to use the wire cutters here. Just be gentle and kind of squeeze them and pull them outwards. So I start with this side that doesn't have the motor on it. I kind of look that up. Get that out of the door first, and then I'm pulling this one up and out. So that's what your window regulator looks like. So when you're going to be replacing this at some point, you're going to be getting a new part like this, and you're going to be putting it back in the door. And then once you get it in there and you mount it, you just slide your glass back in and click it right on these mounts here. I'm going to turn it around just to show you what that looks like. And that's exactly where the glass will sit down in there, and that locks it in that little hole in the glass. The next thing we're gonna do is remove the power folding mirror from here. So if anybody's watching this because of that, obviously you don't have to take the window regulator out and the glass to replace the mirror. So once you have your door panel off, there is a trim piece here with a speaker grill. We're gonna go ahead and just kind of pull that back. And there's just a couple clips that hold this piece in here, so just tug gently. And behind this, there are 3 Torx 30 bolts holding this mirror in here. So, and then just one connector. So reach in, pull that out, just squeeze the little pins together and that'll pull out. And now we're gonna just loosen these. Now with the last one, I leave one in just so the mirror doesn't fall down and crack or break on the floor. Just hold it firmly, take the nut out, pull it out. There you go. So if you're replacing one of these, it's pretty simple to do. Okay, the next thing we're gonna address is the door handle removal. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna first remove this lock cap here. So just open up your door a little bit, and on the inside there, you're gonna see a plastic cover, and we're gonna pull that out. And then on the inside there, you're gonna see a 4mm bolt. So you're gonna loosen that, and then that will be able to pry out that cap there. So let's do that now. Okay, with that bolt out, you'll be able to wiggle this out. and that slides right out, and that's what that looks like. Now we'll be able to get this pull handle, part of the handle out. So you just pull towards the back of the car and then slide it out. And now you'll see the connector for the door lock unlock. And that's what that looks like. It slides in there in the interior handle frame that mounts behind the door. It slides in there, and then this just kind of locks back into the frame as well. Now we're gonna just remove these gaskets. The front one here will access a 20mm bolt. Once you loosen that bolt, all you have to do is just slide this forward like this, and it'll fall back into the door there. And now we're gonna go around and take this latch assembly out here. Now to remove this latch assembly, there's just 3 Torx 30 bolts right here that hold that in. And then we're gonna slide everything down the bottom of the door and pull it out this access panel here, because the exterior door handle frame and the latch have a cable that releases the door from the exterior, attaching both of them together. So we'll bring them out as a unit and take them out on the bench and take a look at that. There's one connector in here you can just release and pull out. And there's also the interior door handle release cable. You might as well just pull that out too and get that out of the way as well. And there's also a lock rod you can remove or keep it in there when you slide it out. Okay, now we're just gonna push the latch in and then slide everything out. Okay, you can see there's a couple wiring harnesses that run along this mechanism here. So we can just peel them off of this. There's ones that goes to the handle. All you have to do is just pull those off. And then everything's ready. We'll take a look at that. Okay, now that I got the door latch and the handle here on the bench, just want to show you a couple things, problems that you may run into. So you see this cable here, it's gray, it goes from the handle, runs all the way along here to the actual door latch here. These commonly fail as well, and you can actually purchase that separately. I know we sell those separately as well in our store. And then a lot of times if you're having a lock function with your latch, or it's stuck, or the door won't shut all the way, this is a common failure for these as well. So anything like that, you can see how that functions with a release handle and how that releases the latch and opens your door from the exterior of the car. Okay, so that about wraps it up for the door disassembly process here. So now you have an empty door shell, and for some reason you're replacing this whole door. At this point, all you have to do is take an 8mm bolt out of this wiring harness here, and there's a single connector back there. You just disconnect that, and then there is 4 13mm nuts holding this door on, and there's also a Torx bolt that holds the door check here, and we have that off already just so we can get the door open and show you a better shot. So yeah, so those are the common issues that you're going to see on an E90 door. So thank you for watching.